What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Focus Datacrons. We got our brand new weekly episode shipments in, and we have our first look at the 4 new Focus Datacrons. This is the first time we're really getting a good look at them in game. But we also now know what it's going to cost to fully upgrade these Datacrons. We're going to break that all down today in this video, and also we're going to look at the 4 Datacrons we have here. I'm going to give my thoughts on which ones I think are probably going to be the best. We're going to break that all down in today's video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you found it helpful or informative, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's dive into it. So what I want to talk about first is going to be the cost of upgrading these Datacrons, because if you haven't figured this out already, the cost to upgrade a Focus Datacron, they said as much in the forum post, it's expensive. It is incredibly expensive compared to a normal Datacron versus a Focus Datacron. Normal Datacron has 9 levels that you upgrade. Focused, or FDC, we're gonna call them FDC for short, has 15 levels, but the costs are exponentially more. So we've got that pulled up here. Starting at the Acumen Mark 1, a normal Datacron is only 90, while an FDC is 340. So a significant jump in the price there. Acumen Mark 2 is not as bad at 305 for normal versus 590 for focused. But when you get up to an Acumen Mark 3 material, 190 versus 980, 5 times the cost for Acumen Mark 3 to fully upgrade these Focused Datacrons. That is insane, and not far behind it, the data cache, which is basically like your credits to upgrade these Datacrons, 7.5 million for a normal versus 28.4 for Focused. So, yeah, these, to say these are expensive is an understatement. 4 times the cost on Mark 1 and data cache, 5 times the cost on Mark 3, and really only about double on Mark 2, but that is an insane increase on the cost to upgrade this. This is going to be expensive, and I think the big takeaway from this is that if we get a batch of Datacrons in the future that are really weak, and this is not a good look for this one because we have a lot of strong Datacrons for these normal Datacrons right now. There's some really good ones in here that we have already, but now to get these Focused Datacrons with these expensive requirements, it's tricky. And this is not even to mention where if you're looking at this as a free-to-play player, what you have to keep in mind is that you get 41,000 episode currency on the free track for the episode pass. And that's just for free. But the cost of the Omicrons is about 32,000. Meaning at that point, you only have 9,000 episode currency left to spend, which then means you are short 1,000 to buy an FDC. So if you want to buy an FDC as a free-to-play, that now means you have to sacrifice buying the Omicrons, at least 1 or 2, to get an FDC. And that, I don't think is going to be worth it for free-to-play. This is very much whale food, but I don't know. This seems pretty rich even for whales. This is going to be expensive to upgrade. So if you are looking to upgrade these Datacrons, you need to keep this in mind. It's going to be a lot of grinding, and you're going to have to either go through the Conquest, or you're going to have to go through the Datacron store, and this stuff ain't cheap either. 125 Shard Shop currency gets you only 250,000 data cache. So you can see this is going to cost you a lot. Ally points too are going to cost you a lot. You can also spend crystals if that's your thing, but really, I'm not a big fan of spending crystals personally for Datacrons. That's not something I like. I know people like to do it. I know people will wail out on Datacrons. That is just not my thing. I'm not a fan of borrowed power, and with the price it's going to take to upgrade these FDCs and the borrowed power you get from it, it's really not my cup of tea. But we are still going to talk about these FDCs and what each one of these is going to bring, and we'll do this breakdown each time we get a new batch of FDCs. But let's start by what is probably going to be the strongest of the FDCs here, and that is going to be the Boba Fett Scion of Django one. This one, at level 3, you get Evasion up, Health Steal up, and Health up for Dark Side allies when they use a special ability. At level 6, you get Bounty Hunter units get a bonus. They lose all max protection and gain that much max health. They also gain Grit until the end of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, which means they also take reduced damage from max health effects. So, you know, like your exposes, the staff throw from the new Hunter. Anything that does max health damage, you're gonna take reduced damage for that. It's really not gonna affect them. At level 9, Bounty Hunter units will gain Bounty Hunter's Resolve when an enemy is defeated. This allows them to ignore taunt. And then at level 12, we start to get an idea of where we're going with this Boba Fett Datacron. And at level 12, Fennec Shand gains... She will call a random Bounty Hunter to assist whenever she uses basic ability. At the start of her turn, she gains a stack of Loyal Hand until the end of the encounter. And Loyal Hand is a buff that you get with Mara Jade that gives you bonus max protection and offense. So you get that, at least that bonus offense. I don't know if that max protection is going to convert to health. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong on that one. And then if Boba Fett is in the leader slot, Side of Jango Boba Fett is in the leader slot. She also gains a stack of Loyal Hand at the start of his turns, and the benefits she gains from Loyal Hand are also granted to him. So yeah, they're both getting that stacking offense. Each turn they get 10% bonus offense. The bonus protection, don't know if that converts or not. But yeah, at least they're stacking offense as the fight goes on. And then we get to level 15, and this is reading a lot like a Darth Bane ability. And the way this is worded, it could be interesting. This one seems like it could be interesting. So with level 15, we get Boba Fett Siam Jango's effects here, and he gains 100% speed while he has fewer than 10 stacks of momentum, which he gains momentum through his abilities. And then at the start of the encounter, he gains 3 stacks of Beskar armor until the end of the encounter, and all enemies are inflicted with target lock until the end of the encounter, which can't be resisted, prevented, or dispelled. His attacks will ignore protection. If at the start of the encounter and there are no Empire Galactic Legends and Fennec Shand is the only other ally, Boba Fett, while he is active, all allies have 75% bonus max health and offense, instant defeat immunity, and immunity to ability block, daze, healing immunity, shock, stun, and turn meter reduction. Whenever Boba Fett Siam Jango gains a stack of momentum, Fennec gains 5% turn meter. At the start of his turn, he dispels Foresight from all enemies and makes them immune to Foresight until the end of the encounter. If Fennec has 10 or more stacks of Loyal Hand, she inflicts Deathmark for 2 turns, which can't be resisted whenever she uses a basic ability. So there's a lot to unpack here. This is pretty much a Darth Bane ability. This is going to be, you're going to use a 2-man team here, Darth Bane with another Sith. You're going to use Boba Fett with Fennec Shand here. Now, to really break down some of this, you have to go into Boba Fett's kit and talk about the momentum and everything, what he gets with momentum, and that is under his Fett legacy. He starts 50% offense at the start of the encounter. And then he gains turn meter momentum. He gains a stack of momentum. He gets a stack of momentum whenever he scores a critical hit. And then, he blocks for 3 turns, uses special ability. But the momentum there, you're gonna start really stacking up the momentum with him because of how this Datacron works. But for this first few turns, he's going to have 100% bonus speed, which is huge. But then also whenever he takes a turn and then Fennec takes a turn, they're both giving stacks of Loyal Hand to each other. And we'll pull that up here with Mara Jade as well, just so you guys can see what that is in case you need a refresher. The Loyal Hand, 10% bonus max protection and offense. So big deal there. A lot of stacking offense with these guys, with this Datacron. This one is, he's ignoring protection. He's inflicting target lock on all enemies at the start of the encounter, which also builds into his kit. His leadership ability with the contract requires him to damage debuffed enemies. So they are permanently hit with target lock. They can't get rid of it. So you're going to build the payout pretty quickly with this team already. So this is a pretty strong one. We're going to see how it pans out, but this looks pretty good. And not to even mention, you get 95% bonus crit damage, 110% bonus crit chance, 100% armor and resistance penetration with this fully unlocked Datacron as well. So yeah, if there's one that looks intriguing, it's the Boba Fett Scion of Jango. We can move on to the others. The next one is going to be the Afra one. And this one I'm not so sure of because number one, it requires you to pull Kurstan off of a Jabba the Hutt team, which then means you're probably throwing Jabba on offense instead of defense. So you're going to have to change things up. But this, this gives Kurstan the synergy like he's in a Hutt cartel team, but now he's with Afra, Vader, and Darkside droids. So he does get what he really needed to make him work on the Afra team in the first place. Kind of stings that we have to get through an FDC that's not going to be here for long. But, you know, hey, at least it starts out there. This level 6 scoundrel allies can ignore taunt to target a debuffed enemy. Pretty good. Bonus mechanic on 000, while BT1 is active, 000 is immune to daze and stun. Whenever 000 damages a target locked enemy, he gains protection up 100% stacking for 2 turns, 50% turn meter, and inflicts protection disruption for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. And then at level 12, Dark Side units, the first time each Dark Side ally reaches 90, 70, and 50% health, inflict doubt on a random enemy that doesn't have it for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. This looks pretty good. Doubt is a strong debuff. That is one you get with Malgus. And then at level 15, Dr. Aphra can't be targeted by enemies if there are active Darkside droid allies, and she revives all Darkside Scoundrel allies when she uses dangerous tech. Aphra, Kirstan, Vader, and Darkside droids are immune to thermal detonators. So this one's weird because you're already using Aphra to counter Jabba the Hutt, so yeah, this immunity to thermal detonators just makes it a little bit easier, but she's already able to defeat Jabba the Hutt without this Datacron, so I'm not sure what they're going for with the thermal detonator, and it's not like Jawas are a real big threat to them. It's probably just to make the Jabba counter easier, but the fact that she can just revive everybody on the team, or revive Darkside Scoundrel allies, which is basically Kirstan. Kirstan dies, she revives him with dangerous tech. Boom, there you go. Just keeps bringing him back. He keeps taunting and recovering protection and disarming. That's great. This one seems strong, but I don't like the fact that I'm pulling Kirstan off a Jabba the Hutt team to make it work. And again, I don't see what this is going to defeat. This doesn't feel like it's going to make her that much stronger than it is already. Like, we're already beating Jabba, so there's no need for this immunity for thermal detonators. The doubt's nice. The protection up and inflicts protection disruption for 2 turns. Nothing here screams like this is anywhere near the power of a Boba Fett one. It doesn't seem that strong. This is one, I feel like it's one of the weaker ones. We're going to move on to the Phoenix one, and this one looks pretty good. Level 3 light side allies start with 25% turn meter. Always a good one. At level 6, Kanan Jarrus, if there are no Galactic Legends at the start of the encounter, Kanan is immune to instant defeat effects, and other Phoenix allies cannot be defeated while Kanan is active. At level 9, Phoenix units, whenever they target an ally with the ability during their turn, both that character and the ally gain 5% defense, max health, protection, and offense stacking until the end of battle. At level 12, if Ezra dispels a buff from an enemy during his attack, he deals true damage to that enemy, which cannot be evaded. And then at level 15, Hera, both her and Kanan Jarrus gain guard until they are defeated, and whenever an ally is defeated, if there are no other allies with guard, Hera applies guard to the strongest other Phoenix ally. So, on paper, at least up to level 6, this one seems solid. Like, level 3 and level 6, you get that in there, you throw in Chopper, and you allow Chopper to taunt. Well, now Chopper's taunting, and as long as you're not taunting with Kanan, you've got a way to basically prevent the team from dying, because while Kanan is active, Chopper can't die. So if Chopper's taunting, they can't kill him. You're kind of hiding behind Chopper while you're using other characters on the team to really kind of whittle down the enemy team. So that right there, that looks pretty good. The bonus stats here, level 9, seem okay. It's only 5%. You've got to really use a lot to get that going, and there's not a lot of targeted assists here. You have Hera. Well, actually, no, you have Kanan, Hera, and Ezra that can all do targeted assists. So you do get some nice stat boosts there, but again, it's 5%. It's going to take a long time for that to really add up. The buff dispel doing true damage seems okay. That's on his Flourish ability, which you're not going to use very often. It gets a longer cooldown if you're using it to dispel, so you get a trade-off there where you're having a longer cooldown, but at least you're dealing true damage. And then this guard with Hera and Kanan. Guard, well, if you have to remember, guard is with Chewbacca. I thought it was on Zalbar. I was pulling Zalbar's kit trying to find guard. It was on Chewie, wrong Wookiee. Guard will basically prevent them from getting critically hit, also gives them immunity to daze and stun, and gives them 25% bonus crit chance. Now, they're not going to be able to assist because that's baked into Chewie's kit. That's not part of guard, but you know, at least Kanan can't be critically hit, so that does tie in nicely with level 6 here. But nothing on this is really blowing me away like the Boba Fett one really did. It's a nice boost to Phoenix, but nothing here makes me think, oh yeah, this is going to really defeat Galactic Legends. because this qualifier here. If this didn't have this qualifier here with Galactic Legends, I could see Phoenix benefiting really strongly from this one. Like, against Kenobi, they could be competitive, because now you can nullify the Ahsoka Tano instant defeat. So that could be a thing, but yeah, I don't... if it didn't have this Galactic Legend qualifier, I think this would be a much stronger Datacron. And the max stat boost here is not much to talk about either. 50% crit chance, 35% offense, 65% health, 30% defense. Not a lot to talk about there. And finally, we're going to get to the Zalbar one. And the Zalbar one, if you don't have the Omicron on Zalbar, this one's really not going to be for you. The first one, if the first time Mission Val is defeated, she's revived with 100% health, gains health over time for 2 turns, and takes a bonus turn. This is pretty much tied in perfectly with the Zalbar 3v3 Cron, where she dies at the beginning of the fight, and she transfers all her stats to her and Darth Revan. Now with this Cron, she comes back to life, so this could make it a really annoying team to fight on defense, because if you don't kill Mission Val again, well, then you go into the next fight, she's just going to sacrifice herself again, and now you get a souped up Revan and Zalbar again. So this one could be interesting. There is nothing in the Cron that says, in the Omicron for Zalbar, that says she cannot be revived. So this looks like it's tying in perfectly with the Zalbar 3v3 Cron. Old Republic units, when they attack out of turn, they have a 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter from a target. It's okay, it's not the best, but it's a thing. At level 9, light side units, whenever they inflict at least 4 debuffs in a turn, they have a 10% chance to reduce their cooldowns by 1 for each debuff they inflicted that turn. So, I'm trying to think. Yeah. So you have Mission and Revan both calling Zalbar to assist. So you could get a lot of debuffs there with this. But, yeah, so... Man, that one's a lot of RNG. So that one on paper seems like it's a little bit lacking. It's a lot of RNG with reducing cooldowns. At level 12, Scoundrel units, whenever debuff on an enemy expires, Scoundrel allies gain 2% offense. Doubled if that debuff was dispelled until the end of battle. Decent for all the amount of dots that Zalbar and Mission are going to throw around. And at level 15, Zalbar, at the start of his turn, Zalbar gains taunt for 1 turn to all tank allies. And tank allies are immune to buff immunity and stun while he is active. Once per turn, when Zalbar inflicts armor shred on an enemy, he inflicts it on all other enemies until the end of the encounter. So let's pull up Zalbar just to kind of clarify some stuff here. There's nothing in the 3v3 Cron that says Mission cannot be revived. So this will bring Mission back if you have this Omicron. Also, up here at 5v5 with a taunt with Zalbar, basically what this means is that he's giving taunt. Whenever their ally taunts, they dispel, take a bonus turn, and gain 400% offense stacking until the end of the encounter. So when Zalbar taunts and you have Juhani on the team, Juhani is going to taunt, and then, she's going to gain taunt, she's going to dispel it, and then she's going to use Remorseful Thrash. And this is going to do a lot of damage in 5v5, and you're just going to keep feeding it to her. So Zalbar taunts, she gets that 400% offense, and then he uses Power Blast again in a couple turns. He taunts, and then gives taunt to Juhani again, and then she just uses her AoE again. So you can stack up the damage incredibly quickly on Juhani. That looks really good for 5v5. But again, if you do not have the Omicron for Zalbar, this Cron is really not going to do a lot for you. So this is one, no Omicron on Zalbar. Don't even have to look at this one. Just completely ignore it. That's going to kind of wrap things up here. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to be chasing the Focus Datacrons? Like, are you going to be skipping them like I probably am? Let me know down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next time.